Welcome, superheroes, to the Dandy Bugle, where I, Dandelion, interview members of the real life superhero movement on their involvement with hero work and public community service. Today we have Masked Fairy, the Masked Fairy, joining the crime scene,
Hello.
wearing their stunning super suit. Welcome. I hope you're doing well today, darling. Why don't you
All right.
introduce yourself and describe your work to the audience before we get started?
Well, I'm the masked fairy, and so far I haven't gotten to do too much, but most of the work that I'm planning on doing is going to be trying to help like the kids in the community who are in need and helping those who might not have enough.
Very nice. Um, who would you say is your favorite fictional superhero? And who is your favorite non-fictional superhero?
For fictional superhero, I'd probably have to say Batman because, you know, he takes no names.
Of course.
he
He,
gets, he gets the stuff done that needs to, and I can respect that.
yeah, he's a very common choice. What inspired you to join the RLSH community?
Well, I've always wanted to be able to do some good in the community, and I feel like this is the perfect way to do it.
Yeah. What makes it perfect for you?
Trying to think of how to put it in words. It gives me a reason to go out there and do stuff instead of just being like, oh, yeah, I'll do that eventually.
Right. There's a bit more motivation when it includes the super suit. When did Batman like inspire you at all? Or was there any hero that inspired you to do this?
Hmm. Not not any hero in particular, but I've kind of wanted to be able to do some good. Like I've wanted to do volunteer work and stuff. There's a local shelter that I stayed at for a while, and I remember before I left there, I was like, "Hey, so when can I come back and volunteer?"
That's very
Because
nice.
those places have a wait time that you have to wait before you can come back to volunteer. Because I guess they don't want you interacting with the people that you stayed there with.
It's not a bad policy. When did you join the RLSH community?
Very recently, today was kind of like my first mission that I went out to go and do.
Oh, really? How was that for you?
It was pretty good. I ended up making a bunch of sandwiches and getting some fruit snacks and granola bars and brought it out to the homeless people of the community. I also went to go see if there was any volunteer opportunities at the local shelter or the library, but unfortunately, that's going to have to wait for a while.
That's okay. You still did good work today, and that's very awesome. What is your favorite part about being in the RLSH community? I know you're a bit newer, so it's like harder to know the full extent of it, but
Yeah, I don't know. The people in it seem pretty cool. And
yeah,
plus, being able to do some good for the community, that's always a good plus.
it is. What was your first mission like? How did you feel?
It was it was great. It felt awesome to just be able to help people. There was I went to the local park and my local shelter, so there was a lot of people that really needed it.
Hmm.
There was this one guy that I ran into. I unfortunately ran out of sandwiches and a lot of my stuff before I got to him. But he explained that he was really hungry, so I was like, I felt so bad that I didn't have more I could give him.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. You can't prepare for everyone, but you definitely want to, you know.
Yeah, I guess it's the classic fallacy of you can't save everyone.
Yeah, certainly. How did you decide where to do your patrol and outreach? Like, did you know about these places prior?
Yeah, so I knew that that park that I went to, there's usually a lot of homeless people that end up sleeping over there or hang out there during the day. So I decided to stop there first on the way over towards the shelter. I ended up knowing to go over by the shelter because I stayed there at one point. So I know that during the day they kick people out so that they can go out and find jobs and stuff. But a lot of the times people just sit outside the shelter waiting to go back in. So I decided to stop over there to be like, hey, here's some water on this really hot day. And like, here's some stuff to eat. I had already ran out of sandwiches well before that point, but I still had some fruit snacks and water to be able to give people, so at least it was something.
Yeah, that's very nice. What kind of like things do you carry with you when you're on your patrol or mission?
Well, I haven't gotten to stock my little pack yet, but I'm planning on putting like some candy and first aid supplies. The candy is going to be for the kids that I end up running into because unfortunately, kids end up getting caught in the crossfire when their parents end up down on their luck.
Yes, this is very true. What is the strangest thing that you've like seen on your mission? I know there was only the one recent one, but I'm curious if there was anything funny that happened.
Yeah, I did say that I had a funny story for this one. So here it is. I was at the park where a lot of the homeless people end up sleeping. And I was like stopped at a bench to give this guy a sandwich. And this lady comes over just in her bra. And, and I am sitting there wondering, okay, you're in your bra in a public park. Why? I thought that that was kind of silly.
That is pretty silly. Was she also unhoused? Do you know?
I believe so.
Hmm.
So it is always a possibility that she just didn't have any clean clothes to be able to wear.
Yeah, that's very possible. That's not an uncommon thing. Do you think that like the super suit is necessary for hero work?
I mean, I feel like that's yes and no, because like anybody can be a hero with or without the suit. All it takes is wanting to do the right thing and helping people. But I feel like having the mask and having the anonymity, like it's important because, you don't need the recognition to do a good thing. And sometimes it's better that way because we
Right.
don't do it for the recognition.
No. Do you think that like physical training or martial arts is necessary for hero work? Some might believe it does, or it is.
Not really, because I mean, I'm in a wheelchair and I'm still out there doing stuff. I mean, it doesn't take fighting to be a hero.
Of course.
I mean, fighting injustice maybe, but that doesn't require any martial arts or anything.
You'll find that like in some corners of the RLSH community, there are uh, vigilantes that very specifically do combat work, and there's interesting perspectives on that. Um,
Yeah, I feel like it's not really needed because you can still do hero work without that. I mean, all it really takes is going to a soup kitchen and helping out there, or even just passing out waters on a hot day. I mean, you might need the strength to be able to lift the waters, but if you get like a big case of it for people, but that doesn't really require too much.
right. Do you think keeping a secret identity is necessary for hero work?
I mean, not necessarily, but I mean, it's kind of the same answer on whether the mask is necessary.
Right.
Because, yeah, you don't need it. Like, you can just go out as yourself and just go help people. But, I mean, sometimes the anonymity is nice if you're not looking for the recognition. If you're working within your local community, you're probably going to get recognized anyway. But because that happened to me earlier.
You got recognized?
Yeah, there was a few people that I had stayed at the shelter with that recognized me because of the wheelchair and like, you know,
Yeah.
it's not exactly, if you know me, it's probably not hard to figure out who I am.
So then what makes a hero in your eyes?
I mean, I feel like the want to do the right thing and like the inherent need and want to help people. I mean, anybody could be a hero.
Yeah, of
It just takes going out there and doing it.
course. How did you manage your like mission anxiety?
I mean, I didn't really have any. I decided to go on my first mission today because I was like, well, I've been cooped up. I'm bored. Let me just make a bunch of sandwiches and just head out.
That's a very good reason. What was the inspiration behind your suit?
Um, well, I was going through my cosplay bin and I was like, okay, what can I put together that works as a hero costume? And like, what can I base my hero identity around? And I remembered that I had a fairy elf type cosplay from before. And I was like, okay, I can adapt the cloak and the ears and kind of make it work with that. I decided instead of using the usual like outfit that I put underneath it, I'd just go with the more like comfortable tank top and pants. Yeah, probably gonna use a longer sleeve shirt come winter.
I love the black flowers in your hair. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. I think my sister gave me this flower crown.
It's very cool. Are you currently on, or do you ever plan on becoming a part of like a superhero team? Have you collaborated with other heroes?
No, but I would be open to it. I just don't know if there's any in my area. But I do plan on trying to find that out and maybe go on a mission with somebody.
Yeah, hopefully this interview might put you in touch with some other heroes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would collaborate with you if you were closer.
Yes, that would. I wish I was closer. I'm not near a lot of people at the moment. How do you balance hero work and your secret identity?
Well, that hasn't really come up as a problem yet, but I feel like the big thing would be trying to find a good balance between work and free time with that.
Right. So you mentioned previously that you have dissociative identity disorder, correct?
Yeah, we've discussed that before.
Yeah. What is it like being a superhero with DID?
I mean, it's not too bad. So far, it hasn't really come up as an issue, but I feel like the big thing that I'm worried about is like in the middle of a mission, somebody else deciding to front and being like, we don't want to do this anymore. Like, bye, we're leaving.
Is there any like one particular headmate that wanted to be a superhero?
I mean, I was the one that originally had the idea of like, hey, let's go do this. But then there was also one of my littles who decided like, oh, hey, this sounds like a fun idea. Let's do this. Let's be superheroes. He actually tried to convince me to let her have her own superhero identity, but we ended up having to compromise and be like, okay, let's just have one, but we'll combine both of our ideas for it. Because I originally wanted to do more of like a black cat theme,
Mhm.
but honestly, that wouldn't have worked out anyway because I couldn't find the mask that I had for that. But it doesn't really matter. We decided on this.
And I think it's a very good compromise. How did you discover that you have DID? Like, what's the process of getting diagnosed?
Well, I first discovered that maybe something was up when I was talking with one of my friends who has it. And I was like, wait, that those experiences aren't normal? Okay. let's unpack that. Ended up talking to my therapist, and they were like, oh, okay, let's go over these requirements. Like, you know, ended up discussing that for like a session or two. We figured out, yeah, that seems to fit pretty well. But it's one of those things that currently, like, it's more of a thing where just I'm privately diagnosed, just me and them, instead of having it on my record. Because a lot of the time there's stigma and stuff that comes along with that.
Like what kind of
Because, like,
stigmas?
a lot of the, like, there's a lot of different diagnoses that if you have them on your record, professionals won't always take you seriously, such as like autism and like DID, stuff like that. They'll take you less seriously.
Hmm. Are there any like falsities that you would want dispelled on behalf of the DID community?
So my thing is that just don't believe what you see in like movies and Hollywood and stuff. One of the worst examples of representation that I've ever seen was the movie Split, if you
Hmm.
know what that was about.
Uh, vaguely.
It's
I can't remember watching it.
Yeah, it's about this guy who kidnaps these girls, but he has, well, at the time, it was classified as multiple personality disorder, but it's what's now known as DID. And the way they portray it is like this evil, supernatural thing. Like, oh, like one of the alters is evil and was the one that kidnapped and hurt these girls. But all the rest of them, they're just trying to fight against that one. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Hmm.
Sure, there might be some alters that are a little bit meaner than others, but doesn't necessarily make them evil. And the way they portray it in the movie as like this supernatural thing, like they straight up show him like crawling on walls. Like, no, it's not possession. No, don't do that. That's terrible representation.
I think I do remember that movie, and yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Do you find hero work to be difficult in a wheelchair? Like, was your disability ever a deterrence for hero work?
Wasn't ever really a deterrent, but I did find today that trying to carry everything around was a little bit of an issue. I ended up having to put a backpack on the back of my wheelchair to carry around like the sandwiches and the snacks and stuff. And I had this big case of water, so I had that like sitting on my lap, but trying to keep that on my lap while also controlling the chair was really difficult.
Hmm.
But once I got rid of some of the waters, handing them out to people, I was able to just put the rest in my backpack, so I didn't have to worry about it.
So it got easier.
Yeah, got easier with less stuff.
Yeah. Is there anything that you would want to say to members and heroes of the disabled community?
I guess just don't let it stop you, because there's a lot of things that disabled people can do that a lot of the times people just assume that we can't. Like, I know that at work all the time, I get people saying, oh, it's so great to see people like you out working. When really, there's a lot of disabled people out there doing great things.
Yeah, that must be frustrating.
Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time somebody said something like that to me, I'd be rich.
Well, I would like to thank you for taking the time to join me before we get to our final three questions. So, thank you, Masked Fairy. This is very inspiring, and I very much enjoyed this interview.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
So, one of my final questions is, do you have an origin story?
No, not really.
Our second question is, what would you like to say to anyone who feels powerless in the face of the world's adversities?
Do it to prove them wrong.
That's very good. I like that. And the final question is, who is your secret identity?
Hi, I'm Nix.
We got it. All right.
Yeah, this is a
Well,
lot of fun.
yeah, this was fun. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.